Hey guys, this is RyGuyGaming here today. Back with another episode of my, I don't know what I'm going to call this series, but making of ET, I guess. So here, I'm opening up a image in paint.net and I'm making it transparent, obviously. And I'm trying to find a brown to paint ET. For some reason, paint.net doesn't come with the default brown on the palette, so you always have to make your own. I went with this shade. I'll probably make it a little more gray, to be honest, instead of this, like kind of yellowish brown. I don't know what kind of brown this is, but I'll probably make it a little more grayish brown, when I go back to this probably tomorrow. But anyways, so here I have ET open on the other window, as you saw, and now I put him into here. And I was trying to copy him just freehand, but I decided that that wasn't working. So what I'm doing here is I copied ET onto his own like page, and now I am messing around with something. I get distracted quite a bit during this recording. And so here I am creating a similarly sized canvas to my other one. And I am pasting ET into that canvas so that I can have a similarly sized model to work with. Now you see he kind of has like that ghosting on him, and that's just because of the way the downscaling works in paint.net. I tried to do it again here to see if I could get it to scale down without the ghosty shadows, but I couldn't. So essentially I just had to go off of it with the shadows. So here I'm drawing ET. I used a darker brown for his eye. You can see that they just use a darker green for his eye. And now I'm drawing like his face. So you'll notice here the pixels are twice as wide as they are tall, and the reasoning behind this is because to save memory, they did this. It makes the image lower definition, but it also saves memory, which allows for more colors on the Atari. So it was kind of a trade-off. You could either have higher definition images or you could have more colors, and so of course the developers went with more colors for a video game. So here I'm copying a picture of ET with his long neck. I'm trying to figure out how long I should actually make ET's neck, because it's kind of tricky, especially since this image is even more ghosty than the other one. So I'm trying to figure out some kind of way to scale it, but in the end I just end up freeballing it. And real quick, while this is going on and I don't really have a lot to talk about it, let me know what you guys think about the way this is laid out. Do you guys kind of like this time-lapsey format? I'll probably record it in a lower frame rate next time so that the time-lapse is even faster. But do you guys like this time-lapse format, or would you prefer to just see like a live kind of thing? Because I'm just post-commentating this right now, obviously. Or else I would be talking really slowly so that it would sound normal speed when I sped it up. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Let me know what you want to see from these, or if you even want to see them at all. But anyways, here I'm stretching his neck, and I didn't like how long it was, so I decided to shrink it down a bit. But because of the way paint.net does this canvas scaling, I ended up cutting off the bottom of his feet, so I just put them back on. And then I had to move up his head, and then I had to move down his body, and then I had to fill that in. And then I went ahead and saved this image because it's good enough for now. Right here, I think I go to a website. Yes, here it is. And I actually found a website that explains like the entirety of ET. I don't know if like someone made this or if it's like the manual, but like the whole thing is laid out here. Like all those weird pictures at the top, all the actions. So this is going to be a huge help when it comes to making stuff like that. At one point during this, I think I edited it out, I can't tell, but so here I'm opening up Unity so that I can get started on the actual game. yeah, I guess I edited it out. Anyways, so here I am getting a Unity set up. And the first thing I like to do when I do a Unity project is set the screen resolution. I decided to go with a 4:3 aspect ratio to match like old-timey CRTs. And I also import my ET sprite. And here is where I run into a little bit of some problems just because of the way Unity scales all the sprites and everything, especially when it comes to pixel art. It's pretty difficult and you have to do quite a few things to get pixel perfect games in Unity. It's not impossible. There's just a lot of settings you have to change, and I started off changing the settings incorrectly. As you can see here, ET is huge and I have to scale him down, and that's because the way that I did this, each pixel of ET corresponds to one of those grids on the screen when he's at his full height, which obviously I don't want. I should have put the units per pixel or whatever it's called to, or pixels per unit. I should have put it to 16, so that way I think ET is 16 by 15, I think is what he ended up being. But anyway, so that way ET will be exactly 1 square, which I do end up doing eventually in this video, just not right now. I think I'm doing it right now, or maybe I think I'm reading on the internet about how to do it better, but because I haven't done a lot of pixel games that I really needed to do it properly. Because I mean, my last game, Atari Adventure, that was a pixel game, but I just drew everything bigger, so I didn't have to worry about scaling everything down and getting the pixels to scale correctly. But this time I wanted to try to take it back and actually draw the sprites and everything like the developers would have had to, which is 1 pixel at a time. And so, yeah, I think here I end up fixing ET's size, and which is good because ET was a really awkward size. Also, here I am fixing the camera, because in Unity the camera is really weird. There's like 3 different ways to change the size of the viewing rectangle, and each one of them does something different to it. So it's pretty tricky to tell which one you need to change. So I always just kind of mess around with it till it looks like what I want it to look like. If you guys know anything about it, like, let me know, because I have difficulty when it comes to getting the camera to be the way I want it. But here I put ET in the middle, and now I'm starting to get into the scripts. So I call ET's script Master Player Controller, or MPC, because I just watched a video on Tron, which has the, of course, MCP, or Master Control Program. I move the brackets here down to the next line because I hate having the brackets on the same line as the method declaration, and here I'm creating some public variables. I end up deleting that game object variable called player. I thought I would need it, but I didn't. And the other one controls ET's speed, so that you can control it from the editor instead of from the script. Here I don't remember what I'm doing right here. But anyways, so now I'm starting work on ET's movement. So I create a Boolean value that I don't know what I want to name, so I name it like 6 different things before I settle on something. That bool will just make it so that ET only moves when he's allowed to. So if he gets picked up by the scientist, he won't be able to move until the scientist puts him down. Basically, every time you try to move, it just checks if it's true. Here I'm looking at old code. This was written by me, like I'm not copying anyone else, but I'm looking at old code to remember how to move fools around your game. Here I am documenting my code, which is something I rarely do, but I need to get in a better habit of. Here I am creating a game object variable to store the camera. I don't know if I'll need it, but I want it just in case. So I store the camera by looking up its main camera tag, and now I am actually going to be focusing on the movement. So I'm copying this movement from my PC Adventure game, or Atari Adventure, and to be honest, this probably, if you want to make a 2D Unity game, this is probably the way you want to move your character. Right here I'm creating a rigid body 2D variable so that I don't have to type get component rigid body 2D every time. I just have to type .transform.position. And so here I was testing out the movement, but ET still has gravity, so he'll fall vertically every time. So I had to turn off gravity on ET. So now, if you see here, he actually moves, but he's moving really slow. So I have to change that. So I go in here and basically I now open up another script from another game. I skipped the opening the Windows Explorer, but this is from another game of mine, and I am now going to be copying the movement from that game. This is the way I don't recommend you do movement, because it locks movement to the specific keys that you enter, so the user can't customize their movement keys, which can be frustrating if the user doesn't want to use WASD or the arrows. Like my game, for example, couldn't be played with a gamepad. So I don't recommend doing your movement this way. I recommend doing it the way I had it before, where you just apply the player speed to the horizontal and vertical axes. But as you can see, the movement looks pretty good. Here I am messing with the difference between the get key and get key down events. Get key down fires, I believe, every time as long as get key down fires once when you push the key. Get key will fire continuously as long as the key is held down. So I start off with get key down, but then I realized that that's dumb, because in ET you could hold the key down indefinitely. I know it looks like he's moving fast. That's because it's sped up, of course. I'm still messing around with get key down because I want to see if he actually only moves a pixel at a time, because that's what I'm trying to go for, is to have him only move a pixel. But eventually I don't end up liking that, so I just multiply back in time, delta time, which I don't know why you need that. It just helps to make it, as far as I can tell, so that the player speed is more realistic. There I removed the else on the else if, so that you could hold down two buttons at the same time and have him move in two directions, because if you have else if, you could only move in one direction at the same time. But now he can move in two at the same time, as long as they aren't conflicting directions. Here I am implementing the sprint feature, but I do it wrong and I put it underneath the movement, which is not what I wanted to do. So here I won't be able to sprint, but here I take it and I put it up at the top, and that fixes it. And also now I am adding in the ability for ET to flip when you push the right key or the D key, because in the actual game ET only flips when you push down the right button. Every other time he is facing towards the left. Whether you just let go of the button or whether you're moving any other direction. The only time he's flipped is when you're moving to the right. So that's what I did, and now the sprinting works. ET doubles his speed now when you hold down the space bar. Here I am storing ET's base speed into a constant float, so that ET can basically, so I don't have to type the same number every time. I think it kind of breaks me being able to change his speed from the editor. I can't remember, but I'd rather have it this way anyways. But oh no, never mind, I fixed it. So I can still change ET speed from the editor. And I'm pretty sure that's it. So let me know what you guys thought about this. I hope you enjoyed. And please be sure to tune in for more videos next time. See you later. Bye.